the Schrodinger's Catbox.
Well, today is a sad day for Star Trek fans like myself. Today, Leonard Nimoy passed away, and I think he was 83 years old. Of course, Leonard Nimoy played Mr. Spock on the original Star Trek and on some of the movies that came out, and of course also made guest appearances on The Next Generation and even the two newer Star Trek incarnations. He was also a photographer, a poet, and seemed to be an all-around decent human being. I was lucky enough to grow up at a time when Star Trek wasn't the in thing. It was I was born in '66, so of course that's when Star Trek started itself. So I was too young to catch it then, but I can remember bits and pieces of episodes probably played in reruns when I was probably, 5 or 6 years old. And I can remember even being kind of captivated then. Something about Star Trek, I don't know what it is, but just completely interested me. And during the late 70s, I think, when I really started taking notice of Star Trek, and when the whole movement was in full swing of, this resurgence of all these fans that enjoyed a series that was completely gone from, or I shouldn't say completely gone, but was canceled from the network, and there was no, other incarnations of it on TV, except maybe the animated series. But it was, I don't know, it just caught me like wildfire. And I'm one of those people that at that time was collecting books, Star Trek magazines, Star Trek cards, trading cards, all that stuff. Anything that I could get my hands on, it was just amazing to me. It was almost like a magical kind of thing. And all of this, there was definitely no question about it that Mr. Spock was my favorite character. And I think the reason that he was is because he was somebody that I could kind of identify with. He was very reserved, seemed to take into consideration things and really think about them before he opened his mouth. So he was, of course, a very logical character. And then, of course, he had the issue with displaying his emotions, which I'm, being reserved. I guess I have that same sort of demeanor. But it got to the point where, I think it was my 11th birthday, my family threw me a Star Trek birthday. And I can remember balloons being on there with somebody had drawn a picture of Spock. I think it was my brother Alan. And I got all these Star Trek memorabilia, like books and stuff, it was probably one of the most amazing birthdays I've ever had in my life. I was lucky enough to see Leonard Nimoy speak, and this was in Denver, Colorado, and I think it was around 1987. And I don't remember much about it. I remember that it was really good. He's a really great speaker, and I remember him being a much, much better speaker than William Shatner. But I remember him coming out, and the audience just went nuts. I mean, there's cheering and clapping and screaming, and I mean, you would have thought the Beatles came on stage or something. And he comes out, and he stands up at the microphone, and he just says, "All right, cool it," which was funny. But to me, he always seemed like like his character, he always seemed like a very kind of fair guy and able to get along with just about anybody. And I think that's probably why he is one of the people who was able to get along with William Shatner. His personality allowed him to give a lot of leniency, I think, to a wide variety of personalities. And I think most of all the other Star Trek actors and actresses liked him as well. At least that's the impression I got. But his passing is not really too big of a shock for me. At least I don't think I'm in shock. Definitely, we've lost one of the great actors, one of the greats of our time. And because he was so tied to the character of Mr. Spock, I think we missed out on a lot of the other things that he could have done, or saw the range of what he could have done. But in the other things that he did do, I mean, you can kind of see it there that, he wasn't just this two-bit actor. He really knew his craft and he really tried hard. But given his age and his health problems, it's kind of, in a way, kind of expected, but still, still a loss. So in closing, I'm just going to say that even though he's gone, we'll miss him. He left behind a legacy of great work that we can enjoy for the rest of our lives. And I think if Leonard Nimoy were to greet us all a farewell, he probably would have said something like, "Live long and prosper."